Okay, good day, everyone. Thank you for joining our fourth installment of gShift's Client Success webinars. Today's topic being local search best practices. Wanted to do just a little bit of housekeeping right off the top. This session is being recorded and will be made available after the event for anybody who isn't able to stick around for the whole thing, or if you wanted a recap or review any of the content that I'll be sharing today. I'm going to leave the mics muted for the duration of the session, just so we don't hear any background noise. But if you have any questions at all, please feel free to enter them into the GoToWebinar chat box over on the right-hand side, and I'll look to answer as many of those as I can at the end. Or certainly, I'm happy to take any questions offline if there's something that people needed to have answered in more detail. Anyways, just jumping in, I want to give you a quick sense of who I am. My name's Jeff Riddall. I'm a client success manager here at gShift, and actually, I'm the very first client success manager. I think I may have even come up with my own title, to be quite honest. So, I do have a fair bit of experience in web marketing in general. You'll see there I'm a journalism major. I'm also a blogger, and if you ask my family, I'm certainly something of a social media addict, as well as a devoted hockey dad. If I seem a little sluggish today, it's because I've been watching NHL playoff hockey for about a week straight. So apologies there. But enough about me. Wanted to jump in and just give you a sense of what today's agenda will be. Going to look to try and get through a fair bit of content in about 30 minutes. So start off with a little bit about gShift. Want to talk specifically about SoloMo. If nobody's familiar, that's social, local, and mobile, and how those affect your online presence. And then specifically get into the meat of today's topic, which is best practice for local search recommendations. Ultimately, hoping that the outcome is that we'll give you some ideas to give your business a local online edge moving forward in 2014. So just quickly for anybody, assuming all are fairly familiar with gShift, but our real goal is we strive to make it simple for brands to be massively discovered in an increasingly social and mobile world. We're presently processing billions of data points over approximately 10,000 brands and across now 22 countries. So we've indeed have a global presence. The value we certainly like to think we deliver is we sit right there in the middle on the diagram on the right, providing web presence analytics, bringing all of the data necessary to be able to make decisions about your online presence and how to optimize your online visibility in terms of keyword metrics, desktop and mobile traffic analytics, social signals, which are increasingly important from a search engine optimization perspective, and backlink data as well. We also provide within the product some recommendations and activities tracking so that you can keep track of how you're progressing in terms of implementing your SEO or content marketing strategies. Because ultimately these days analytics really informs engaging content. Just a quick diagram here on the right indicates that currently the biggest content marketing challenge that companies say they're having is just producing engaging content and knowing that the content they're creating is what their audience is looking for. And so analytics is important in helping you understand what people ultimately want to read, like, and share that you're producing as part of your ongoing web content marketing strategy. But we're here more specifically to talk about local search and local search best practices. And one of the keys to local search is that the audience is ultimately in control. I mentioned off the top, wanted to discuss the topic of SoloMo, or social, local, and mobile. Really, these three things have changed the way people are informed, consider, and make purchases, interact with your business online. So companies have to monitor and ultimately manage their presence socially, locally, and on mobile devices, and understand how their audiences are interacting with them in those three channels. But more specifically, wanted to talk about, again, local search best practices. Cover roughly 6 specific topics here. We'll look a little bit at on-site optimization. We'll talk about Google Plus Local and what that means for local businesses. Where content marketing fits into the picture. Social media, again, which is a very important component of improving your online presence. Backlinks and how those continue to affect your online presence and your visibility. And then again, the mobile factor and where that fits into the picture. So to start with on-site optimization, really this is where we like to think the foundation of all local search optimization starts. You still do need to have a solid website, solid web presence from a corporate website perspective. And so, in terms of on-site optimization, our typical recommendation is really to start by identifying the top ranking or visited pages on your site. The pages for which you already have established some momentum, the pages that people are again visiting, and or Google has agreed that you have authority for. You also want to try to identify a manageable number of keywords that you want to be found for. I'm always talking to my clients that I deal with directly about trying to not spread themselves too thin and really focusing in on a core set of, say, 5, 10, maybe 20 keywords maximum. Because when it comes to optimizing a page for a specific keyword or a group of keywords, really there's a number of different steps involved. First off, there's optimization of the page itself, which is what we're talking about here. Um, and beyond that, there's the building of the authority of that page um, by linking to it from other pages within the site, by promoting it externally, whether it be through social media or via external backlinks or links to your site. So there's a number of different steps that come into play for any given keyword and any given page that you want to optimize. So we always try to really recommend that our clients focus in on a specific number of pages and or a specific number of keywords that they ultimately want to be found for. And then again, the starting point is to optimize pages for those keywords. Now, within the product, within gShift, we do have our gShift page optimizer where you can effectively select a page, and I've included a screenshot here on the right. So you can select a page, select a specific keyword that you want to optimize that page for, and then we provide a list of recommendations, areas within that page and items specific to SEO that you can adjust or modify or make sure are in line with the best practices for optimizing that page. So we're talking about things like title tags, about heading tags, H1, H2, and or H3 and on down the line, internal links, meta descriptions for those specific pages, among other items. So really, we're talking about optimizing that page from a technical perspective. Other things you can think of doing externally for this page are making sure, or for the site in general, is making sure that you have a Google and or Bing Webmaster Tools account. One key ingredient there is uploading your XML sitemap. Just a great way of making sure that Google and Bing know about your site and about all of the pages within your site, gives them a better chance of ultimately being crawled. Last but not least, I'll mention one item which a lot of businesses aren't currently taking advantage of. I saw a very recent stat, I think it was an article yesterday or the day before, that talked about how schema is a really important component of search engine optimization ultimately, and how many businesses aren't taking advantage of. For those that aren't familiar, schema is really just a way of tagging content within your site as structured data or structured content. So for things like your local business information, so your address, your phone number, the category your business falls under, for events that you may be running. And one of the newer things under the schema umbrella is restaurant hours and menu items. Really, this is a way, again, of tagging these as structured data items, making them easier for Google to find and ultimately to present on the site and in search results. And those are presented in a much more structured way. One of the things outside of performing or creating that schema code directly on your site is you can look at leveraging a data highlighter tool that is made available through Google Webmaster Tools. So again, if you have a Google Webmaster Tools account, I highly recommend you take a look at the data highlighter tool as a means to identifying the content within your site that can be considered structured content and can be tagged as such. So moving forward, we'll talk a little bit about Google Plus Local, formerly known as Google Places. This is effectively, for a lot of businesses, I like to refer to it as their second website, um, because in addition to um, the organic results that are returned by Google, I'm sure we're all very familiar with the fact that there are now mapped listings, or effectively links to your Google Plus page that are incorporated into the local search results. So it's very important for any local business to make sure that they take ownership and complete the required information within their Google Plus local page. You want to verify that you, again, own that business, which might mean verification either via an automated phone call from Google, although more often they send out a postcard. Unfortunately, that's a process we all have to live with from Google, where they send out a postcard with a PIN number. You generally should receive that in a week to 2 weeks time. That PIN number gets added back into your Google Plus or local page, and you effectively take ownership or verify that you own that page. Now, completing the required information in that page includes doing things like adding links to the introduction. So links off of keywords that you want to be found for back to the pages of your site that are relevant to those keywords. So if you have a particular product or service, link from that product or service name directly to the page within your corporate website where the information on that product or service can be found. Just an easy way of people to find you from that About Us link. And it's also just another link for Google to pay attention to related to a keyword. You also want to try to link to other related websites. So if you have an external blog or there are other sites that are related to your web presence that you want to point people to, incorporate those within your Google Plus local profile. Certainly recommend you do that, as well as any social accounts. There's an opportunity to add in links to your Twitter account, your Facebook account, your Google Plus account. If you, or obviously, sorry, you're within your Google Plus, so you wouldn't be doing that necessarily there, but certainly your Twitter, your Facebook, and any other locally oriented social accounts you may have. You also want to take the opportunity to link to your website. So link your Google Plus page actually to your website. There's an opportunity to do that there. And if you happen to use or maintain a blog site or generating blog content, particularly if it's a WordPress or other type of blog site, you want to tie in Google authorship, which is a way of identifying who the actual author of content that you're creating is. That within the search results will show up as an actual picture of that author. Provides some additional relevance and additional authority to that content for people who are seeing it within the search results and might choose to then click through. Last but not least, when it comes to Google Plus Local, certainly recommend seeking out and monitoring your customer reviews. Customer reviews are hugely important as a way to provide social proof and to provide authority for your Google Plus Local page. Now that Google Plus Local actually offers um, uh, customized links to these pages, certainly would recommend telling your clients or you yourselves, if it's your local presence, to share the link to your Google Plus Local with your clients, asking them specifically for a review. A really quick way, make it easy for them to effectively find your Google Plus Local page so that they can go there to provide a review if they so choose. Now, of course, reviews sometimes scare people, scare businesses because they're worried about negative reviews. That's why it's important to also monitor those, because a negative review sometimes can actually be turned into a positive by appropriately responding to that review. Should it be negative, or should a customer have had an issue, or there's a customer service um, issue that needs to be addressed, by actually taking the steps to go in and address that through your Google Plus Local or wherever that review may reside, could actually turn that into a positive. Making it transparent to your audience and to your prospects that you do indeed deal with the positives as well as the negatives. Moving on, content marketing again is a critical component these days of your web presence optimization strategy. Important to simply create and distribute original, relevant, value-added content which links back to the primary pages of your website. So those pages off the top that we've defined as the focus pages, or those that we're wanting to ultimately optimize or establish authority for, we can do so by generating some content that links back to those pages. Far too often, I deal with clients or look at blog sites where the blogs, those posts don't include links. It's simply content with little to no call to action or no links back to any other content. Um, Really, within a blog, the opportunity is there to link back and to effectively provide additional authority to those pages with the hopes that ultimately that content will be read, will be liked, and or shared socially, because that's another component of the of establishing your authority is the social proof you get from your readers that they like, share, comment on your content. Perhaps somebody picks up that piece of content and they share it on their own site, or again they share it through the social channels, thereby creating something of a backlink for you. So content marketing extremely important. Obviously, from a local perspective, you want to try and, where possible, keep it locally oriented. Keep it, it might be a blog post, it might be news, might be events that you're holding. Also, obviously, videos are becoming increasingly important. So any of those types of content you can generate to build up and enhance your site and your online presence could certainly help to further establish your authority. Google these days is all about fresh, green, relevant content. So we highly encourage that organizations take a look at leveraging content marketing as a strategy once they've established a solid foundation from a technical perspective. Which brings us to social media. Again, another obviously huge component of web presence optimization in general, but also at the local level. Ideally, you want to try and identify appropriate social media channels for your business. If it's a business to consumer business, most likely that's going to be your Facebook, Google, say Twitter, and or look at uh, localization sites like or social networks like Foursquare as another means to extending out your web presence. So idea, and then in terms of building a following, identify and follow relevant local businesses or people, people who are likely to share and or have a similar interests in terms of the content that you'll be posting. So hopefully you'll get some retweets, some reshares, some likes on Facebook, and so on. That's a great way to at least start building that social following locally. And then ultimately taking and distributing your content, the content that you're generating through your content marketing strategy, with calls to action and links again to relevant pages of your website, always linking back to the site where you ultimately want to establish authority for those pages that you've created and ultimately optimized. um, within gShift, you can look to monitor the social signals for that content that you've created. So social signals being the likes, the shares, the comments. Again, when we think about how do we improve our overall content marketing strategy, it's by paying attention to the content that people are reading, are liking, and or sharing. And that's the content we want to key on and learn from moving forward, so that we can continue to create content that resonates with our audience. The other important thing from a social media perspective is simply to listen. Listen and pay attention to whether or not people are talking about your business or talking about things that are relevant to your business. Sharing local stories, articles, information that are relevant to your business. And again, just get away, building community and working around and engaging with the community that you've started to build and have followed and will hopefully follow back online or via your social media accounts. Moving on to backlinks and or at a local level, these are sometimes referred to as citations. First off, backlinks still do matter. There's been a lot of chatter recently, a lot of um, commentary coming out of places like Google, for instance, about how backlinks are sort of a touchy or dangerous area. That being said, relevant local directories, things like the Chambers of Commerce, the Better Business Bureau, local review sites like Yelp, links from local partner sites, or links from relevant industry sites can still definitely help to build and establish your authority. One of the places that we recommend looking for links within gShift is either at the top 50 panel for any given keyword that you're focusing on or wanting to optimize for. So by simply looking at the top 50 results, those are effectively relevant domains or relevant sites for those keywords that you're following, and by definition become good potential backlink sources. Obviously, you're not going to be looking to get links external or links to your site from a competitor site, but if you should happen to find, again, industry sites, blogging sites that you could potentially comment on, local partner sites, anything that falls within sort of the first few pages of Google is a good potential backlink if it's associated with the keyword that you're wanting to optimize for. The other place within gShift to look is at competitors' backlinks. There may be an opportunity to piggyback on some of the places that your competitors have established links, whether those are paid and or free advertising opportunities, or perhaps your competitors have found some places to relevant and reputable places to link that you could likewise benefit from. So looking at those things, particularly if you identify competitors who are ahead of you or outranking you for specific keywords. Those are the competitors you particularly want to pay attention to, because perceivably they're the ones that have or have established some links that are probably helping to establish or build their authority ahead of yours. One last thing on backlinks is recommend that you don't simply link to your homepage. Remember to link to other relevant pages where appropriate. So, in very much the same way that you're looking to optimize multiple pages of the site or those pages that have some momentum, you likewise want to build the authority of those pages by linking to them. Not simply to the homepage. And far too often, when it comes to backlinks or creating backlinks from external sources, a lot of companies get caught on just linking to the homepage, where it might be more appropriate to link to that specific product or service page that you're trying to ultimately build authority for, and if possible, linking off of keywords that again you want to be found for. We'll talk a little bit about mobile traffic because, again, obviously a growing and huge component, particularly from a local perspective. Upwards of 25% of gShift client site visits are from mobile devices. We can look at all of our clients within in the software and see that this is a growing number. So, first question would be: do you have a mobile-friendly site? How does your site resolve or render on a smartphone or a tablet? In many cases, you may have a relatively new site that's been built in a way that does render well. That being said, new mobile site designs, as you see an example of here on the right, is tends to be a much more scaled down version where it's simply links to the most important information. Quick access user usability is tantamount because people are in a hurry. They want to get to the information they're after as quick as they possibly can. So, right at the top, we have a call us now button. Then we have new inventory, used inventory for this particular business so that it's quickly accessible. Now, if you do have already or creating a separate mobile site, the same optimization rules apply in terms of the title tags and the heading tags, the internal links that you create within the pages of that mobile site. Um, Very much the same approach to optimizing those pages moving forward, if that indeed is a separate site that you've developed. If not, if you're maintaining your existing site and it does already render well, you don't see a need to build out a new site. Again, very much the same rules apply from an optimization perspective. But when it comes to mobile searching, I think probably all agree we're pretty lazy when it comes to mobile devices. The keywords that we use, the searches that we do tend to be shorter, but they might also include a geographic identifier. So in the case on the right, you'll see of our our condo company, many of the searches here would be, Barry condos for rent, Barry condos listings. Um, so we need to think about that in terms of how our visitors to our mobile site or to our mobile presence might be finding us. We also have to be cognizant of the fact that they might be using more conversational search or voice search. So literally, talking into the phone, whether it's through their Google Voice command or through Siri. This is actually one of the key drivers behind Google's recent Hummingbird update, um, addressing the fact that people are uh, using more conversational searches and they're asking questions. So not simply putting in Barry uh, pizza restaurant. It might be, where do I find a pizza in Barry, or where can I get the best pizza in Barry. So we need to be cognizant of the fact that people are searching in these different ways, and then maybe expand our keyword list to account for the fact that there may be some question or conversational type searches as well as some geo type searches. So we need to, likewise understand there's differences when searching locally versus searching from another location. So we may have people in Barrie searching for condos in Barrie, but we may likewise have people, halfway across the country searching for condos in Barrie. So we need to account for just the different ways and the types of keywords people might be using for searching from different areas, mobily or otherwise. So within gShift, we provide you with that opportunity to see whether or not people are searching nationally. So in this case, through Google.com, or more specifically through Google.com at a Chicago level. So searching as if they are in or located in Chicago, and providing search results for people who are searching from that specific geolocation. You'll see here we can also provide the mobile results, which may also be different than what you would see on a desktop. So being able to identify if and whether you need to be concerned about searches coming from different devices, global versus, or sorry, mobile versus desktop, is important factor in moving forward and thinking about how you're going to optimize your site and or your content to address those types of searches. Again, you'll likewise want to know whether or not you maintain local positions. So not just am I number one in Google for a particular search result, but do I have a local presence? Is my Google plus local page showing up in the search engines or search results? And so that information is available through keywords and local within the gShift software. That really covers. We got about a half an hour or 30 minutes through the content here. Covers what I wanted to talk about today in terms of local search optimization. Did want to talk just quickly about a special promotion we're holding up until May 1st. If you upgrade your gShift software subscription to the next tier, you'll have an opportunity to receive 50% more keywords. You'll see a link there to find out more specifically about those tiers, and you're welcome to reach out either to sales at gShift Labs or to your client success manager for more details on that. Um, and that really brings me to the end of the content I wanted to cover. That being said, I know there may be a few questions, so I'm going to jump out of this screen. First question is, do people need to have a Google account to write a review? Yes, I mean, to write a review on a Google Plus local page, yes, they would be required to log in to their Google account in order to provide that review. That being said, I should have mentioned as well, and we were talking specifically about Google Plus local there. There are obviously other review sites. I mentioned Yelp within the backlinks area, Yelp, TripAdvisor. There's other types of review sites out there that you may want to leverage. I certainly think that the Google Plus local reviews hold a little bit more weight. So where possible, you want to try and sort of diversify those reviews, but if you can point people in the direction of your Google Plus local page, that would certainly be recommended. Somebody mentioned they couldn't find the place to add product keyword links in About on Google Plus. Can you describe where that's found? Within the Google Plus page, when you're managing your About or I believe it's called Introduction area, there certainly should be an area. You should have a WYSIWYG editor made available to you where you can add in links and do some basic formatting of that introductory paragraph or about area. If you're not able to find that, maybe feel free to fire me an email offline, um, jeff.riddell@gshiftlabs.com, and I'd be happy to maybe take that offline and follow up, see if we can't find the specific area or situation you're looking for based on your particular Google Plus local page. Could you elaborate about some details in about schema and the examples you gave around restaurant menus and hours? And to be quite honest with you, this is a relatively new schema configuration. You can certainly go to schema.org, where you can find the full breakdown of how the schema tags are structured. But my understanding is you can basically establish um, uh, in the same way you would for, say, your local business, where you would indicate, the name of the business, the name of the or the address of the business, the telephone number, the category that that business falls into. My understanding, I assume that would be the same for restaurant menus and hours. Um, that you would be able to identify, a lunch versus a dinner menu, and I'm not sure about specific menu items, but I believe so. Again, I'd have to defer to schema.org for that. Um, for that additional information, but I know that that's something that's been released as recently as within the last couple of weeks. So that's where you could find that additional information. Question here about mobile. If desktop site is SEO optimized, I have a redirected site. Does it matter if I optimize the mobile site or not? Um, the mobile site really should be optimized in much the same way as the desktop, in terms of title tags, heading tags, and the content itself. Um, in order to, for Google to be able to properly index and understand what those pages are about. Um, if you're not creating a separate mobile site, then again, you would optimize your standard site as you normally would. But again, the key focus there is on titles, on headings, and the content within that site, internal links within that site. You need to make sure that you're just giving Google proper indication of what keywords you ultimately want to be found for. So I hope that answers the question. Next question. Speaking of new entries on our blogs on our site, how many entries recommended weekly? Really, that depends on the number of blog posts. Depends on really your ability to generate them. So resources, um, and or I would suggest just looking at the landscape and the competition that you're up against, in terms of how much new, fresh, relevant content you need to create. Um, Obviously, the more competition, and if you've got others out there who are very active from a content marketing perspective, you're going to want to effectively keep up or stay ahead of them in terms of your own content production. Depending on the business, if we're talking about a small local business, once a week, once every 2 weeks, one of the things you want to be cognizant of is not setting your maybe goals too high or too lofty, where you're not going to be able to keep up with creating fresh, relevant content. But if you've got um, uh, you know uh, new relevant information and the resources available to do it, as often as you create new content, I suggest would be um, the best, absolutely the best strategy. Thank you. We've gone a little bit over the 30-minute time limit that I'd established for today's webinar, but I hope everybody found the content useful and worthwhile. Again, if there's any follow-on questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. There's my contact information there. As you can see, you can get a hold of me in a variety of different channels, either via email or socially. And just for next month's topic, you'll see that we'll be talking about fine-tuning YouTube. So we certainly hope you can join us for that, where we'll look to provide some good content for you to do to optimize your YouTube presence, as obviously video is becoming more and more important as another channel or another extension of our web presence. So thank you very much to everyone who joined today. I look forward to talking to you again in the future. Thank you.